Well, it looks like we're heading toward a vote that will bring the Washington Commanders back to the RFK site. Let's get into it. Well, on Wednesday morning, the DC Council reached a financial agreement with the Washington Commanders on the plans to have the franchise move back into the heart of DC. Now it's just a matter of days until the council puts it up to a vote. Now stick to the end of the video and you will hear my commentary on this matter, and also the surroundings of the excitement, yet the controversy through all of this. We will talk about in just a few minutes. News 4 learned Wednesday morning that Chairman Phil Mickelson, who has voiced concerns about the stadium deal, came to an agreement with the Commanders to change the financial terms. The details of those terms and those changes have not yet been clear, but the agreement now opens the door for the DC Council to vote within days after public hearings on approval for the stadium build-out. Now, while the council has made a preliminary vote on the financing of the deal, Mickelson removed the bulk of the stadium legislation from the upcoming budget vote, and he said it was unlikely the council would vote on that before September. But on Thursday this past week, Representative James Comer, a Republican from Kentucky, also the head of the House Oversight Committee, wrote a letter to Mickelson urging district leaders to vote on the stadium before the August recess. And Comer said delaying the vote could jeopardize the Commanders' $2.7 billion investment. The mayor's office said it needed more time to review the report before commenting. Then we have the whole President Donald Trump comments about the team moving back into the district. This past Sunday, President Trump had this to say about the stadium deal as he took to his social media platform, Truth Social. I may put a restriction on them if they don't change the name back to the original Washington Redskins and get rid of that ridiculous moniker, Washington Commanders. I won't make a deal for them to build a stadium in Washington. Now, this certainly raised questions as to what the president can do in this situation. Could he actually stop the deal from going through and force the team to revert back to the old name? Well, in short, the answer is yes. He can stop it, and here are 3 main ways of how he can do it. An executive action canceling the lease, a National Capital Planning Commission that casts critical votes on infrastructure, or a commission of fine arts that reviews all designs of DC construction. And Trump has already initiated 2 and 3 as he has gotten a committee for those 2 and 3 together to start reviewing all of this. Now, okay, first of all, I have been a fan of this franchise since 1981. Yes, I'm old. I have cheered for the Washington Redskins, cheered for the Washington football team, and now, of course, I'm cheering for the Washington Commanders. Now, I understand they are all the same organization. The name thing is, honestly, it's such a sensitive subject because there are those, of course, who truly wholeheartedly feel that the name should have been retired and that it was a slur. And I could say now, growing up around people of all races, including Native Americans, I never heard the word used in a derogatory manner. Now, that's not to say that the dictionary definition is wrong. It's just I never heard it. And to be honest, some of my friends who were Native Americans actually cheered for the Washington Redskins. Now, that being said, I've always maintained the idea that the only ones who should have a say-so in this whole name change thing are the Native Americans themselves. While I think of the term strictly as the old moniker of my favorite football team since, again, 1981, there might be some others who think of it in a totally different light. Now, I totally get that. I believe the whole rebranding, back in, 2022 when we came up with Commanders, but even during the 21 phase when we were, going through the whole process, I really think it was poorly done, and I think it was born out of the issues that most people had with Dan Snyder, to be honest with you. Even some of the council members of DC said the reason why that they attacked the name, it wasn't so much of the name itself, it was really Dan Snyder. And I'm wondering too, had Josh Harris and company purchased the team before the rebrand, I'm not sure if a rebrand would have ever even happened. And maybe if it would have still, I believe it would have been a better process. And honestly, I think we would have had better results. And I can't fathom the idea of a sitting president getting so involved with a sports team and demanding it changes its name. We had President Obama who chimed in on this before. We had President Biden who chimed in on this before. So, Donald Trump is not the first president to chime in on a name change of a sports team. Do I care for the Commanders moniker? Nah, not really. I've always thought it was a bit mediocre. Honestly, as I've said before, at best, it's Walmart generic. I think the team didn't need to be peeled completely away from its imagery, its colors, its uniforms. And I know that, yes, we still technically, we have the burgundy and gold, but hasn't really looked like the team when they wear their white jerseys. And of course, the black uniforms, I totally don't get whatsoever. But I think with the popularity of the Commanders' throwback Super Bowl uniforms, it's obvious that most people didn't like everything about the rebranding. When I think of the franchise and where it fits best, if we go back and talk about the actual stadium, where does the Washington Commanders belong? They belong in DC. To me, it's the only place where they can be. And we have talking heads like Stephen A. Smith who came out and who touted the idea the Commanders should share a stadium with the Baltimore Ravens. Why would anybody who knows anything about sports think that that is a great idea? I mean, it's beyond me. I mean, you would completely alienate a lot of the Washington fans from Virginia, as well as, I'm in Carolina. And back in the day before the Carolina Panthers, where I'm at in Carolina was Redskins Nation. So why would you alienate all of those fans to keep moving them further on up into Baltimore? I just don't really get it. But I think in the end, cooler heads will prevail and the team will be back at the RFK site. I really do. It's quite possible that Harris already has an idea for some soft reboot of the rebrand. Maybe it's still going to be Washington Commanders, but it's clearly embracing the look of the Washington Redskins. Certainly, if you look at the alternate white uniforms with the burgundy pants, that is classic. That is exactly what I rooted for, minus, of course, the W on the helmet. That's the look that I saw win so many Super Bowls in the 80s and early 90s. How is the actual game day experience? That's what you really need to look at. How is the stadium going to be? Is it going to be very comfortable to sit back and watch your favorite team play? Is it going to be like RFK? Is it going to have that feel to it? I think, to me, those things are a little bit more important, but I do also realize that some people feel like the tailgating is also the whole game day experience. I get that as well. I believe the deal goes through, but I also believe that we might see some compromise when it comes to the brand. I mean, you never know. Stranger things have happened. And at the end of the day, I just want to experience a game day at RFK. I never got to do that as a child. I want to experience that as an adult. Now, let me know in the comments what you think about the whole stadium situation, the rebrand, the whole Donald Trump getting involved. And also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're really enjoying the content. And also, when you do, please make sure you're hitting that notification bell and selecting to be notified for all videos so you won't be left out wondering when is the Maniacs going to release a new video. And with that said, hell to Washington Commanders, hell victory, let's go Maniacs.